So I guess to begin, it first helps to understand fundamentally how a grip works, right? And once we understand that, we'll probably realize a lot of the strips we do are actually very similar, just slightly different flavor to it. But human anatomy is human anatomy, right? And biomechanics is biomechanics. So first things first is let's talk about the grip itself. Let's start with a basic single hand grip, okay? Now the hand, most of our hands should be pretty much identical. We have a thumb and at least 4 fingers, I hope. But we look at where's the strong point in the hand. It helps to know where's his strongest point and where's his weakest point. So as you can see where 4 fingers are, that's the strongest point. Here, or the knuckles back here, I never want to pull my grip away from the weak points into the strong points. What I'd like to do is try to figure out where the weak points, so the gap between where the fingers meet, that's a great point to try to separate your hand. And if I have to force through fingers, if their hand is a lot larger and the fingers are touching, making contact, then I'm gonna probably choose to fight through where the thumb is. That's the weakest point. But if I can, I wanna always fight through this gap here, if there is a gap. So one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna learn different ways, but my point is I wanna try to rotate my wrist and put pressure through this point. And so we're gonna first talk about, I guess, Chris, maybe you could show us some of the ways you like to break the grip, now that we understand how the grip works, okay? And I think it's best to understand how it works on an open wrist and then study how it works when we start to grip fabric, because it's slightly different, but the mechanics are basically the same, but slightly different, okay?
No problem.
So how would you break this grip?
Yeah, so if you put me in the same situation. So just to ditto some of the things that you're saying, you know, the first thing is I need an escape route. So the escape route is path of least resistance, which is this thumb and the separation over here, okay? Now, this is a static position, but later on we'll film some live in terms of grabbing and what's gonna happen next. But just to get through this, I would escape it from here. So instead of escaping this way, which he can resist me, I would escape it and come down, just basically out, right? And my things that I'm worried about is he can either push me or he can pull me, right? And those are the 2 basic things. So the moment that's on, if he does push me, I'm gonna go with it and I'm gonna go through that thumb and just escape, right? And just gonna get out, strike, or something like this. That's one way. Another way is to basically just, I can use this hand and strip it out this way by escaping from that hand, right? Yeah. How would you deal with, say, something like that?
Well, the principles are the principles. My goal is separate through the weakest point, just like he described, just like we talked about earlier. So I would probably follow the same mechanics. I like to put pressure, use my elbow and leverage. So as I move my elbow towards the arm, it starts to bring my hand up. So my elbow pushing onto his body, his arm, starts to create pressure and separates this part. And then I follow through.
Also see what he's doing with his waist and his legs. So we need to back out a bit. Because what I'm feeling, guys, is I'm feeling this pressure down my center, and he's accomplishing that through his stance foot too. So he'll explain. So
he's got a hold of me, and usually they'll slide down to the bottom of the wrist where it's the most narrow part of my body, so they get the strongest grip possible. So when I start to put pressure with my elbow towards his arm, it starts to pull away the front part. Then I use that leverage, pushing here, separate the arm. As I do that, I like to use my body more than just my arm itself. So I have my guard, of course. As I turn in, I use my hips and put pressure, elbowing the arm, and then pulling it backwards. Okay, this is one way. It's a very simple way to deal with a grip. And of course, there are variations in grips, and we're hopefully going to go through all these different versions. And please send in questions if you guys have different types of grips. But no-gi grip, I'm going to push towards and separate through the weakest point here. Now, if it's super strong grip, I can always use my own arm to secure and assist it, right? But it's the same concept. Rotate your wrist so the narrow part is coming through here. And I push through.
It'll be the same as this one.
Yeah. Right? Same thing. If I have that grip here, I'm going to rotate, use my elbow here, and step over with the elbow. Come over, and I have my strikes here.
That elbow's key. Yeah.
Yep, because once I do this, I've already controlled, I'm trapping the guard, and it's 2-on-1 now.
Yeah.
So that's a simple way. Another way I like to do it is
cross grip.
Yeah, cross grip, same thing. I can strip down. I like to maybe use something similar where I push pull.
Oh, nice.
So He's got a strong grip here. Okay. I like to push my hand downwards while I pull his arm up and separate. I'm just separating the two entities together. So like this.
Can I just add something there?
Yes, of course, of course.
I learned this. I make a connection. You know, this channel is all about similarities and cross training and things. And the connection I'm making, what you just did, that little pick, I learned that in Arnis.
Oh, nice.
Filipino martial arts.
Yeah.
Where they're stripping the stick, like the stick grip.
Yes,
of somebody
yes, yes.
by pulling. So cool.
Yeah, we're more alike than we are different when we start to get to know everything and give ourselves a chance to meet and understand. But this one way I like to separate is hand down, use my body, not my hand to do it, but my body to drop down and pull up like this. So I use my hip to do all the work, push down and strip up. Once it's stripped, obviously don't just hang out here. You're gonna have to decide what you're gonna do next.
I got a question for you though.
Yes.
It's pretty simple. What about this hand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So if that hand comes in, I can also just use this to defend because I'm attached to him, he's attached to me.
Yeah.
So if I'm concerned that a strike is going to come in, I'm just going to break his balance first. And once we have Kazushi, that solves a lot of problems. So if I'm worried a strike's going to come first, I'm probably going to break his balance and then I can go and close. Then it disables that arm. Yeah. So these are just a couple of ways. I mean, we can go through more different versions and options later on, but just want to start off with something basic like that.